Hello and welcome into Odds Checkers coverage of Monday Night Football. What's going on? I am Matt O'Leary alongside Elisha Twerski. Elisha, what's going on, my man?
I'm doing okay. Like you, you probably enjoyed that there was no Jets game this week.
Yes, very much.
From a site betting perspective, I kind of enjoyed that too. We have not had much success with some of our writers picking the Jets, and that doesn't really work out very often. So it's been kind of nice having them on a bye week.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I was able to watch just Red Zone all day and enjoy quality football. It was a welcome change for me. And I'm very much so looking forward to what should be a quality game tonight with the Buffalo Bills and the Tennessee Titans here. So let's start. We'll look at the point spread first. So let's pull up the odds grid here. Buffalo is favored by 6. Is anything jumping out to you here that you like?
Well, Buffalo -6. That jumps out to me right away. I mean, since the start of 2020, Buffalo 16-8 against the spread, which is the best record in the league. They're 11-6 as favorites, which is the third best record in the league. In games they've been favored by more than a field goal. Their last 14 games, they're 10-4 against the spread. Meanwhile, Tennessee hasn't had anywhere near that kind of success. They're just 5-6 against the spread at home since 2020. Buffalo's first in rush defense for Football Outsiders and DVOA. They're first in rush defense. And if you're going to match up against Derrick Henry, this is the defense you want going up against him. So I'm liking Buffalo a lot.
Yeah, me too. I like them at -6, which you can get at -110 at a ton of different books on here. Yeah. But they're 4-1 against the spread this year. Their average margin of victory is 21.6 points. Now, I don't think it's going to be anything up that high. They have played some, pretty garbage teams to start off their season. But you look at this defense, they just held the Kansas City Chiefs to 20 points last week. And we know the strength of Tennessee is their run game. That's what they like to do. And you have Derrick Henry. I mean, it makes total sense. And with the quality of the Bills defense, especially against the run, I don't see how they keep it close enough to cover this number. Now, again, I don't think they're going to get blown out by like 20 points, but I think Buffalo could win by like 10 points pretty easily today.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this is going to fall on the shoulders of Ryan Tannehill, how healthy those receivers are. Julio Jones should be back. Probably A.J. Brown. I think he was added to the injury report with an illness, but I haven't seen anything about him being out. So I guess it depends on their health because they're going to need every bit of them tonight, and even that might not be enough against this Buffalo team.
Absolutely. And when you look at the point total for today, it's a relatively high number at 53.5. Do you like the over here? Are you on the under? What do you think?
Well, before we get to that, I just want to mention that this is a great time to bring this up. The only team that has lost to the Jets this year are the Titans. So
I love
that's something we got to keep in mind. I mean, if you can lose to the Jets, how are you beating the Bills?
Great point. And how are you keeping it close? I love it. Anytime we can mention the Jets, bring them in, please, especially in a podcast.
I just had to do that.
I appreciate it very much. So looking at this number, 53.5 seems a little on the high side to me. I don't know where you are with this.
I'm still, I mean, again, I felt the over. We did the preview for the Thursday night game. I felt the over. It missed it by like 2 points, and it was kind of almost a bad beat there. I'm still going the over in this one. I mean, since 2020, these two teams are the highest and the fifth highest over, have the highest and fifth highest over percentage in the league. Tennessee's at 15-6-1, Buffalo 14-9-1. They go over a lot. Buffalo's gone over in 2/3 of their road games during that stretch. 2 of Buffalo's last 3 games have totaled 64 and 58 points. Meanwhile, 4 of Tennessee's 5 games have gone over 51. Have been 51 or more. So I'm kind of liking the over, especially if you consider where Buffalo's offense is at right now. Tennessee, even if it's garbage time, I mean, even if we're talking about a blowout and it's garbage time, Tennessee can rack up some points that way. So I think the over will hit. I have a feeling you're going to disagree here.
Yeah, I'm on the under actually, and I think it's because of Buffalo's defense. I don't think Tennessee is going to be able to score enough to get it to that mark. Now, I mean, would it shock me if Buffalo puts up 40 and then they hit this over? No, I guess not. But Banking on what this defense has done against, some really quality offenses like the Chiefs, their highest total that they've allowed so far is 23 points, which was all the way back in week 1. They've really clamped it down since then. I just find it hard to believe Tennessee is going to be able to put up more than, 17 in this game. And if that's what they're coming in at, I don't know if it's going to be enough to clear the 53.5 mark.
Right. And I mean, just the way I'm thinking of this game, I'm really liking Buffalo to pull out ahead early. And you could have a situation where garbage time, Tennessee just adds on those points to get to the over. And just the history of these teams of them hitting the over, that's just my feeling of how it's going to hit. I can't say I've been great with totals this year, so that's something to keep in mind. But that's just the way I've been feeling.
Are there any props that are jumping out to you this week that you want to get into?
Yeah, the Stephon Diggs receiving yardage prop. I think for me it's an easy over. So if you go to receiving yardage and you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see he's got 85.5. The over there is listed at plus 100. I just love that. I mean, Tennessee this year has allowed the most receiving yards per game to wideouts. They're 224.5, which is by far the most in the league. They've allowed 92 or more receiving yards to 4 different receivers just since week 2. Diggs topped this number 11 times last year. He's been off to a bit of a struggle this year, but I think this is the game where he really gets on track. In addition to everything else, in addition to Tennessee's just lackluster secondary and everything, they've got Christian Fulton's out this week. He's their starting corner. You could see rookie Caleb Farley line up against Diggs, and with his route running skills, he could eat Farley alive. So I really like the over on this one.
See, I'm going to go with a different Stephon Diggs prop, but I am interested in getting into some receiving or total receptions. So he has one. I just got to scroll it down here a little bit. Stephon Diggs under 6.5 catches is at plus 120. Now, I think he could put up numbers in terms of receiving yards, but he's hit the under on 6.5 catches in 3 of their 5 games this year. I just think that Buffalo is going to spread the ball around, and I don't think he's going to get upwards of 7, 8 in the reception range. And if I'm getting it at plus money, which you're not really able to find a whole lot on some of these props, especially when it comes in with Diggs, for instance, the over on 6.5 is at minus 140. So not, phenomenal value there. Right, just based on value alone, I kind of like that play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think our bets are mutually exclusive. Against this secondary, Diggs can easily have 5 catches for 120 yards. It's very possible. They don't have the ability to stop the deep pass. They don't have the ability to stop anything. I don't think they have the ability to tackle him. I mean, his footwork it's uncanny. I mean, maybe Devontae Adams is the only guy who can rival him. So I think both of these bets can happen.
Absolutely. So that's going to do it for our coverage here on Monday Night Football. Make sure to check out oddschecker.com for all your gambling needs and get your info before placing your bet. That's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you next time.